Kathi Frankel is up next, and she is well into her second decade as a member of CBH. She is a physical therapist who mentors very pregnant new Americans, right? She has a thing for drag shows, rap music, and hip-hop dancing. She was once accused of smoking on a middle school trip, of which she was guilty. Show her chocolate, and she will do anything. Kathi Frankel, Leviticus.
The Summer of Jubilee, Africa, 2005. Is God watching over me? Smoke, machetes, boys impossibly young, a war that I am no part of. My home, my village, my family, running with no place to go. I am born on the way, but there is not enough air. We are displaced, but I am a survivor. Did God send these angels to me? A tent, medicine, needles, white hands holding and moving me, smells that I have never smelled. Where is my mother's breast? I do not know what people are saying. I don't know these people. I'm not well. Will they bring me to my mother? Will God save me from this tragedy? A giant bird brings me to America. More hands, more strange languages, many people in yellow shirts. And then, alone, in a dark space, at the very back of the big buildings, in the very back of Clarkston, Georgia. The door closes, and we are on our own. Atlanta, 2011. Lunch with a president. Surrounded by Secret Service, so noble and proud, and yet with a humble smile. Jimmy Carter has invited my husband and me to lunch. An experience I will never forget. President Carter took interest in our life's work. My husband's groundbreaking work on stroke at Grady Hospital, and my work around mentoring refugee families. I explained to him the hurdles and challenges that refugees face when resettling in Atlanta. I explicitly discussed the stress of having a child with a disability. He asked me if I would like to meet Don Mosley, the president of Habitat for Humanity and the founder of Jubilee, a welcoming camp for new arrivals from war-torn countries. Jubilee is about 30 minutes from Athens and UGA. It's a rustic space on a farm with cabins, a schoolhouse, communal dining, and a magnificent hand-built merry-go-round. 3 days later, a call from Don Mosley. Mrs. Frankel, President Carter and I were at a funeral last week, and Jimmy walked clear across a funeral parlor to tell me that I must call you. I have known this African family since they arrived in Atlanta. The children are beautiful. A cute little girl and a 5-year-old boy named Eric who has cerebral palsy. Like many children living with CP, he has a heightened ability to smile, eyes doughy and bright, drawing you in. His mom integrated here without family and decided to face the challenge on her own, seeking medical care for her son. She's incredibly strong, but vulnerable in our unpredictable medical and social service systems. After a year of appointments and applications and impossible disappointments and discrimination, we are tired. These grand attempts to fit into the American dream have left us all exhausted. In spite of my heroic efforts, also known as the Great White Hope, an ill-fitted superhero cape. This family has endured defects, referrals, police encounters, hospitalizations, and even a court appearance. We are tired. They are tired. Social services in America do not begin to replace the networks and fabric of an African village, and my friends are struggling to adapt. Mr. Mosley, I need your help. May I bring my friends to Jubilee to heal and rest? Can you care for them and treasure them while we gain more strength? I mean them. I mean me. We packed my truck and headed up 85. The children were supposed to count the exits. Eric was told to me to be a profoundly mentally handicapped and was the first to see exit 149. Mama was enamored by the giant houses on wheels barreling by us on the freeway. I said, "People sleep in there." "No," she said. "Yes, they do. I'll show you sometime." When we stopped at a gas station, she spotted an RV and took a look around. "You're right. They do sleep in there," she laughed hysterically. As we pulled into Jubilee, I couldn't believe my eyes. There was a lake, blueberry bushes, a chocolatey brown cow, and we all screamed with delight when the baby cow rounded a shed. It was as if the world became greener and richer, more beautiful and more friendly. And then there was this line of people at the entrance, some refugees, some workers, all shouting, "Welcome." I stopped the car and wept. I had not realized how good people could be. I needed this as much as they did, a validation of their humanity and significance in this world. We pulled the truck beside a bright orange cabin, a sign on the door welcoming the family, a tiny key grabbed by my little friend. The refrigerator and pantry were full of food that they liked to eat. Little beds made up with blankets and quilts, a front porch, and a space to play in the dirt. And another surprise. Don said, "You are our honored guests. This is the cabin where Roslyn and Jimmy sleep." Exploring Jubilee was surreal. A goat was bleating in the distance, on and on, echoing through the camp. And then, quiet. As we walked further, the goat was being cooked on an open fire. A family from Burma squatting by the open flame. They waved and smiled and told us we could buy our own goat from a farmer in town. I nodded, and Eric guffawed at the look on my face, and we walked on. Another family playing in a field of uncut straw. The sun creating a golden halo around the boys, tearing by us. This family was from Eric's country. Mama stopped and inspected each one and hugged them. A little one was sitting on a potty in the corner, using it as a chair. Father had a large tumor over his eye. He would be cared for at Emory, he told us. The 4 boys had shaved heads and a white powder treating the fungus they had developed in the camps in Cameroon. They ran and played like wood nymphs, brandishing sticks and calling out in their native language, Sangha. We stood in line for a meal in the communal dining. A group of women from Nepal sang the evening prayers in voices so sweet I could feel the back of my throat burn, fighting the knowing tears of what they had faced prior to their arrival. After dinner, it was time for me to go, but not before Don, who has his own daughter living with cerebral palsy, hoisted Eric to the top of the carousel and had a belly laugh as Eric told me goodbye in French. They were happy and ready for me to head out. They were ready to heal from their trauma, away from the pressures of the city and agencies and people telling them how they should behave. But just like when I dropped my child at kindergarten and later on at UGA. I look back with a bit of trepidation and loneliness. I mean, Eric is medically fragile. Should I leave him here? And I suddenly felt how close I was to these people. But I realized that their resilience was much greater than my white cape would ever be. I needed time to reset and learn more about resettlement and the rights of the disabled. And how do people become citizens and vote and establish credit? As the sky turned dark with an orange rim lining the horizon, I drove into my inviting home, where my family was eager to hear of our adventure. I'd like to show you some pictures from the story real quick. I recounted the story of the goat, and I was exhausted. I slipped into my cool sheets in the very back of my house, in the very back of my neighborhood, and held in my heart that my friends were in a safer place, at least for now. Thank you.